Yo, what's shaking AC? This meeting is being
I
recorded.
know I can't sneak up on you anymore. Like we hit the record button and it's this meeting is being recorded. Now I can't like sneak up on you. We have to pretend.
I know all these privacy changes and all that sort of stuff, or whatever it's called. But
Yeah, you don't like to break the rules, so that's a joke.
so actually, speaking of breaking the rules, or more so thinking outside the box, I was I'm an incredibly good son, and I was taking my mother out to the garden center because it's starting to warm up, with the exception of today. And I decided to buy her a bunch of stuff for a garden. I do every year, some new plants, some tools, whatever she needs. And I was walking along, and I saw this like garden in a box. Okay, like you've got your seeds, you've got your fertilizer, you've got gloves and a shovel. I think maybe you can add on a hose so you can water the stuff. And I thought to myself, let's do franchise in a box. Let's create a service, okay, where like people can just call up AC and they'd be like, I need a franchise. It'd be like, here is a box of all the tools you need to franchise. Go forward and be fruitful. Why
No.
aren't you saying anything? Okay.
I know. I am not digging this idea.
Why not? Everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not doing it. Okay. So, do you realize you're hitting a nerve? This is like this is a real rant. So, the reason I have a problem with this is because it makes me sick to my stomach when I think about these innocent franchisors or business owners who think it's a good idea. They're thinking of franchising their business, which usually comes from other people telling them you should franchise this, or they don't really realize what they're getting into. So I want more locations, so they use the word franchise, the F word I call it. But it's usually like other people planting the seeds. So I guess we have a garden theme going. Plus, I have flowers on my shirt, so there you go. But it's not like they went and raised all this capital so they could build a business that they would eventually franchise. And so what happens is, okay, maybe I should franchise. What do I need to do to be a franchisor? I need an FDD and I need an operations manual and I need a website. That's kind of all you really need, right? Like, I mean, you need other things, but that's what it would appear that you need. So they go out, they source out where to get these things. They get these things, they drop all this money without anybody actually properly assessing a person's propensity to franchise isn't all about whether they have the capital and whether their business has good economics. Like, you got to look at their DNA. You got to look at the brand. Is it a saturated market? What sets them apart? Now you're going to take that business. Like, just for example, I warned you this would make me rant right a minute ago.
It would. I'm like, all right, let's make today interesting. What can I do
yeah.
to
Okay. So I had a client once a long time ago, came to me, bakery. I've got a bakery. It's super doing really well revenue wise. We're growing. Everybody in town loves us. We want to bring this to other places. I'm like, cool. Do you think there's any of those in the other cities you want to go that people already love and that live in that market, and like they're the mom and pop shop that everyone goes to? So now you're going to try to go into that market with your bakery and steal those people away. How are you going to do that? Well, because fresh ingredients, quality ingredients. And I'm like, do you think the other ones don't say that they have that? Like, that is not a differentiator.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I'm getting at is franchising a business is not all about plugging some numbers into a spreadsheet and determining whether or not it's going to work with the model. There's so much involved. And so that is often, or I'm going to say from what I've seen, and anybody sees this and thinks differently, feel free to reach out. But 99% of the time doesn't get done when people go and buy the franchise kit. I'm going to go get all these things and be ready to franchise. And what I've seen is once people start to invest money, whether that's 15,000 or, because they start their operations manuals or their FDD or they do a package, which includes all those things, plus a Gantt chart or whatever it is, they think now I'm good to go and I've got everything I need. But what happens when your mom buys that kit, starts planting things. Okay. Like play this out a little bit. Tell me what happens. She plants the things.
Yep. And then they all get eaten by the squirrels.
Right.
So she needs to find some sort of mesh or net to put it over the tulip bulbs so the squirrels don't eat that. Squirrels can't get in, but now chipmunks can get in. So she's got to put, whatever it is, whether it's cayenne pepper or human hair or whatever the latest trend is in the garden to keep the chipmunks out, And then you got to worry about the other plants where the raccoons get to, and, all this sort of, and then you got to worry about fertilizer, and then somehow the clay absorbs all the water and you need to change topsoil. And
so was it really an all encompassing kit? No, right? Like it's BS. It will get you off the ground a little, well, not even off the ground. It won't even get you off the ground. Do you know how many people come to us at AC Inc. and say, I got my, my operations manual, got my FDD, got my website, and I don't know what to do next. Or I ran out of money. I can't hire you because I ran out of money. And we're like, well, let's figure this out together. It's a huge, frustration point. And because there's so many other things that need to happen and guidance, where to spend money, and franchising is not just about one thing. There's so many things involved. And I think one of the biggest things is, do you have the DNA? Do you have the stomach for it as a franchisor? Do you have the behavioral traits of, I talk about the DNA of a franchisor. I think we might've ranted about this, but things like compassion for people. I think one of the biggest things I've heard you say over the past year and a half of attending the roundtables, being able to be around other franchisors and established franchisors especially, is that you have realized, holy smokes, one of the key ingredients is that these franchisors actually care about their franchisees. Like, that's the difference between the franchisors that are doing well, you can see it on the call, and the ones that aren't, that don't truly care, right? So there's all this DNA part. And so when people are like, oh, like, I don't want to pretend it's easy. I don't want to, just come to AC Inc. and we've got a kit and we'll get you your things you need to franchise your business. It's easy. No, it's not easy. We're going to help you if you've already started, or if you want to start with us, we'll help you, but we're going to do it right. And we're going to make sure you go in with like eyes open.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think that's kind of testimony to the magic of your roundtables, because, it doesn't matter what sort of like consultant or advisor or whoever you talk to, whether they're, a big brand name or an independent or whatever, like there's only so much you can convey in a short period of time, whether it's like an hour call or 2 hours or whatever. The thing with the roundtables is they're ongoing, and at each roundtable you learn something new, and you're like, oh man, we didn't even talk about Fran Dev, we didn't even talk about this. But I got to tell you, I know we're running out of time here, but I completely empathize with emerging franchisors, because if you're not in the franchising industry, it really does seem easy. Like, it really seems easy. Like, I did this. I built a location. I can figure out the spreadsheets because I have to do it. I have to run payroll. I can figure out all the ops. I can figure out all this. What do I legally need to do? Have a franchise agreement, an ops manual, and all that sort of stuff. This is super easy. I'm not going to buy into the concept of if a consultant can't can't make money by finding a solution to the problem, they can make money by extending the length of the problem or what. And then I'll be like, so you guys can all go screw yourself. I can figure this out because I get it. And it's not until you sort of pass that hurdle of having to deal with these problems that you realize it really isn't that easy. And I wish there was an effective way to convey that, and to say, if you think it's easy, you're probably wrong. Check yourself.
Yeah, it's and that's what I have a real beef with, is when other businesses out there make it sound easy. Oh, just franchise your business I'll teach you the 5 steps. There's going to be like hundreds of things that are going to come at you. And yeah, so the moral of the story is not to franchise your business, but is to really make sure you know what you're getting into. And if anybody is curious about the AC roundtables, go to angelacote.com. They're free.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
All right.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Go be awesome.